Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome here on Crypto Hash Review, where we educate and disseminate information about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies from a Muslim perspective. We have a question. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Wa alaikum salam. Can we trust exchanges? Well, just for those of you who don't know, an exchange is basically an organization that allows people to exchange their funds. So you deposit your fiat or your cryptocurrency, and once they've secured those funds into their pot of money, then you can execute trades whereby you can convert your money from, say, Bitcoin to Ethereum, your pounds to Litecoin, and vice versa. Its purpose is purely to do that. Its purpose isn't to be a bank. You're not supposed to use it to store your funds. So really and truly, if you are using an exchange, it should be for that purpose to exchange. Now, if you're doing something short term, as you have no intention of holding on to these coins for any long period of time, then it's perfectly normal to leave your money there for a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month, as you're waiting for your targets to be hit. But it's not meant to be, okay, I've got 5 Bitcoin on Binance, I'm happy with that, and then just live life on sitting on Binance. It's not meant to be a bank. So if you treat it like a bank, then you have to adopt and accept the risks involved. Now, exchanges, two things could happen in an exchange. One, the exchange owners or people in the exchange could steal the funds, so the exchange would just disappear. It happens quite often, funnily enough. You usually hear these obscure kind of exchanges that some sort you never heard of before, and all of a sudden it becomes news that they've just run off with X amount of money. That happens quite often. Often in the sense of, like, once a year, maybe twice a year, you might hear something like that. But not often as in every week, every month. But no, maybe we heard one to this year, which has happened in Turkey. Some two exchanges apparently, I don't know what the real news was, but apparently they disappeared with lots of money. Yeah, and we haven't heard one for a while before that, so it can happen. So that's the first risk. The second risk is that they're legitimate, they're not going to run away with your money, but due to security errors, they get hacked. Now, the hacking is becoming less and less as time goes on, because every time an exchange gets hacked, exchanges learn how they got hacked, what happened when they got hacked, what could they do to stop it in the future, and other exchanges learn from their other people's mistakes. So hacking of exchanges was quite common back in the day. But as years have gone on, security has improved and it's become more and more difficult to hack exchanges. For example, a lot of exchanges now, they put their cryptocurrencies not hot wallets, so they keep it offsite, not connected to the internet. So you can't actually log in and hack it because it's not actually connected to the internet, those kind of things. So, but that can happen. So can you trust them? Yes, you can trust exchanges just like you trust any corporation or company. They are just a company. And like any company, they could go bust, they could run away with the money with the funds, or they could be victims of some kind of hack or scam or theft. And that could, doesn't mean it would, but that theft could pass on to you. So there are risks involved. So if you have large sums of money, like 20,000, 100,000, £1,000,000, to leave that sitting on an exchange like that, a bit risky. Generally speaking, if anyone buys large portions of money and they tend to hold it for a long period of time, they would withdraw it into their own wallet, and that's the safest thing to do, if you know what you're doing. Now, for some people, withdrawing their funds actually would be the more riskier thing. Someone who's old, someone who doesn't know what they're doing, someone not very tech savvy. So for them to secure their funds on their own wallet is a bit... the likelihood of them losing their private keys and losing their funds is quite high. So for that person, maybe the exchange is actually the lower risk option. So therefore, you choose a reputable exchange like Binance or Coinbase, like those reputable ones that are not have a long track record of processing fees and processing transactions and preserving people's wealth. I mean, even Binance a few years back got hacked and some money was taken, and then we discovered that they actually have a special fund called the Safu fund. He said that it came from the phrase where he mentioned funds are Safu. So people start taking the mick. He said safe, but it's a Safu. so become like a Safu fund. But so anyway, so anytime they might get hit, if they do get hacked, then the funds will come from, or the hit will come from that fund, but not from your savings or from your funds. So yeah, there are quite a few reputable exchanges that you can 90% of the time rely on it, but there's still a risk of loss of funds. So if you have large amounts, withdraw. Small amounts, it's okay to leave it there until you have enough money to mitigate the withdrawal fees. That's usually an issue. People don't realize that you actually charge like 20 quid, 30 quid just to withdraw. So if you're gonna have to withdraw 100 quid and you're paying 30 quid, this doesn't make sense. So anything less than 2 grand, okay, it's okay to leave it on an exchange. But anything more than that, maybe consider taking it offline. If you have, you can do so. And I think even things like Coinbase, they insure a certain amount of money from theft and that kind of stuff. Next part of the question: are they taking interest from us? Now, exchanges don't operate like banks. Banks operate what's called fractional reserve. They're not required by law to hold all your funds that you deposited. They only hold a small fraction, hence the word fractional reserve, and they can lend out the rest and only hold a small amount. That's not how exchanges work. If you say you got one Bitcoin on your screen, they should have one Bitcoin to back it up, and that's how it should function in theory. And that's how they advertise the function, and we haven't had an example, as far as I'm aware, of them not acting that way, unless you go to an exchange and you sign up specifically to what's called like a staking kind of thing, where you deposit your Bitcoin and they will use that Bitcoin as collateral for loans. Then they will tell you what they're doing, and obviously you can't do this haram. But I'm saying that's an example of, you could say, a fractional thing where they'll use your money to end that interest. But that's not the norm. That's actually quite uncommon. I am using Binance, and yeah, so Binance is one of the most reputable ones. Now, one little small rant. I just heard of a repeat of an old fatwa from Da'i or scholar today, bringing the issue of what happened in Turkey with that exchange where a person ran off with the money as an example of why Bitcoin is haram. And I got a bit sick and tired of these stupid reasons that people can mention why Bitcoin is haram from da'is and scholars and whatnot. And I'll call it what it is. I mean, I hopefully don't offend anyone, but it is what it is. A lot of the excuses that I mentioned are damn right stupid, and double standards as well. A person stealing someone else's wealth is not a reason why that wealth is haram. There is no way in history where people stealing someone's gold is the reason why gold is haram. Many gold vaults, where people store their gold, it's not backed one by one, by the way. There's actually a known conspiracy whereby gold, people that store your gold vaults, they're not one-to-one backed. They actually are using your money to do other things. Or they might even just disappear your money altogether. That doesn't make gold haram. So I don't see why that was mentioned as an excuse or as a reason why Bitcoin is haram. But like I said, 99.9% of all of the excuses I mentioned are double standards. I'm going to have a video about this, dealing with this more specifically, but I just want to get this off my chest because it really got my goat today. Anyway, I hope you find this video beneficial. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and check out our website as well. If you want to book a call with us, you can book a call on our website. And may Allah give you plenty Bitcoin during these last 10 nights. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.